Hello gamers, Mick Stardust here, and today we're playing Adventure Quest 3D. I've got my brother here.
The Babbling Buffoon.
He recommended the game, so let's get into it.
Well, I honestly gotta say that this game was a little bit disappointing because I went into it with high hopes, with a nostalgic cause.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't as good as that episode of Ash vs. the Evil Dead that we watched earlier.
Yeah, that was pretty good, which reminded me of Duke Nukem.
Save the babes. Okay, so account registration is so simple that even the Babbling Buffoon could figure it out, and he still has his kidney, so just go ahead and agree to those terms and conditions and put your email in the box. Let's check this little marker and get going. So far, this game's about as entertaining as Adventure Capitalist.
The loading bar game. And the good news is, guys, that the loading screens are so fast that we barely got any time to make any bad jokes about them.
Well, we're trying this out because...
Well, I mean, like, if it's anything like the original, then it's going to be Twilly approved and hated by Zarbox, so have fun with that.
Yeah, obviously, Babbles here is quite familiar with the series. He's been a big fan of it for a long time, so... Character customization is so cool, actually, that whether you want to look like that blue guy from the movie Watchmen, or if you want to look like a Namekian from Babbling's favorite cartoon, Dragon Ball Z, we've got that covered. So while the characters might be really low poly render and all of the building models and the terrain meshing and everything like that, you know, the texture's more than make up for it. I mean, it's more like Morrowind compared to, let's say, Skyrim, but I'm gonna give the models a thumbs up on that. They did a pretty good job in the art department.
Personally, I'm going to give the character models a 4 out of 5, and that's because I'm biased towards anything with anime in it. Man, and the nostalgia for this is going to be insane for me because when I was a kid, I built character after character. I mean, to be honest, this game was pretty much just a glorified dress-up with RPG mechanics.
Yeah, I remember you always trying to get me into the game and trying to show me all the different characters you were making. Oh, look at how cool this one looks, and that's probably why you still wear those monkey pants. So we've got a really wide variety of haircuts. By that I mean about 15, which is kind of nice, I guess, if you want to have different hair. I like mohawks. I just wanted to see how many more different styles that there were, and an entire plethora of colors to choose from. It would be nice if they added in maybe a walking animation or something like that. I've seen
or like jogging in place, anything other than standard statue.
Should I go with blue or should I do pink?
I don't know, man. I feel like you should go with purple.
I like pink.
Purples look like nurples.
Yeah, I was considering the purple, but pink's hot.
I think that there are quite a bit of character options for a game whose level cap is 18.
Well, I mean, I remember when you were younger, this is what you loved about it, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, this is what I loved. It wasn't the base character creation, it was the ridiculous amounts of armor and the fact that you could change your armor and it would actually appear on your character. Whereas I was playing games like Diablo 2 compared to this, and Diablo 2 was like, yeah, there's differences in the armor, but it was basically the same 10 sets with different textures.
I don't know. I'm feeling it really bright and vibrant and geared towards little kids, popping out at them with the cartoon style animations, and it works for that audience. So on to the tutorial level. I'm just gonna go ahead and say real fast that I'm saving any spoilers for anybody who might be interested in the game. I went ahead and cut out all of the cutscenes. Were there audio recordings on any of that? I don't remember.
I do not remember.
No, I think I remember kind of making up voices in my head and reading it out loud. And for some reason, actually, the game started out with the sounds by default muted on my PC. I don't know about maybe anybody else. And another thing was that the music kept shutting off.
Right, constantly.
Yeah, and that was really tedious, actually. I do think that it continued to work once we were in town.
Yeah, for briefly. It was like whenever we switched over, the audio came back, but it always seemed to stop within 15 minutes of the turn.
Yeah, and the music in town was Herald of the Bells.
No, I'm pretty sure that's only
Yeah, I just think that's the only thing I can think whenever I hear that song. Thanks. Yeah, thanks to Seth MacFarlane for that.
I'm pretty sure it was a Family Guy thing.
So testing the game mechanics. I don't know why, but they make it so that way if you left click your mouse button, you can rotate your model. Maybe people want to look at themselves. I don't know. And then if you hold right click, then you will strike. It's pretty standard. I think that's controls that WoW has.
Yule Strike, like a Yule Tide Strike. The way you said Yule, it sounded like Yule, like Yule log.
I think the first thing that I went ahead and did was go ahead and test the spawn time on these monsters here. Because, in my opinion, we're playing the tutorial, and I'm only supposed to kill 5 of these skeletons and save these people here in a daring rescue on my way en route to go defend a castle from this giant dragon, which is the force of evil that's unleashing all of these skeletons into the world. And I'm just kind of lazily about standing here, and I'm not really feeling the pressure to actually save these characters. You know, this one guy, I can complete my quest here by continuously killing the same skeleton over and over again. And then when I do try to proceed, the combat takes so long for me to kill these guys that by the time I've killed all 3 of them from around those guys over there who I'm supposed to be trying to rescue, you know, the first one has respawned again and has engaged me. And I just feel like that they should do a little bit more work onto this opening scene here.
I feel like the whole game needs some work, personally.
So, I picked the mage class, which is pretty standard for me, other than the cleric. That's always my go-to. I like to play the healer. So, I do like how my spells have the status effects. My lightning casts a stun effect, the ice gives it a slow, and the fireball seems to be just a inflated version of my standard magic missile, actually a little bit more powerful direct damage. But it's actually I was expecting a little less from it, you know.
Kind of like the warrior class, which I found honestly disappointing.
Right. And you know, I mean, it's just the whole way that the monsters are spawning here, you know, I mean, I think that they wanted it to try to seem like a dramatic rescue scene, and I rush in and they all fight me and I kill them off at the same time, and then I just talk to these guys and I'm out before the people attack or whatever. But, you know, I mean, I'm a mage here. I've got cloth armor on, and, you know, mages aren't typically the type to just go and start taking a bunch of hits. You know, I noticed that later on in the game I get armor, and I'm actually wearing plate armor and everything, and I guess every character is supposed to be just some kind of a generic hero with different animations, but I feel like if they're going to do a class thing at all and not just make it a choose your own skill tree, then, you know, they should kind of put a little bit more behind the mechanics of battle and that type of thing. So one thing that Babbles and I noticed actually in the, I don't know, what were we playing for, like an hour, 2 hours maybe?
Yeah, probably a little bit less than 2 hours.
Yeah, one thing that we noticed while we were running around was that there's a lot of paid content in this game. And you know, I mean, it seemed like literally half of the loot that dropped even was
it was a little bit more than half of the loot. Any crafting stuff that you find, and this really irks my gherkin, any crafting stuff that you find, you have to spend premium money on in order to turn into anything useful.
Right, yeah, that's kind of what I was going to go on about. You know, I mean, the I don't mind that games want to make a little bit more money. You know, it helps pay for their development and
Cosmetics
everything like that.
can do that.
You know, right. I mean, they can pull in money by asking for donations or, you know, like you said, buying cosmetics and stuff like that. But if you're going to implement a system into the game to add more depth to it, you know, I mean, make it accessible to all of the players. It's really unfair to anybody who doesn't want to pay to play for the game. You know, and like if I join up, say I want to try to get my kids into playing MMOs with me. You know, I mean, they're gonna wanna do all of this type of thing, and you know, I'm just gonna avoid playing this all together with my kids.
It's severely disappointing to me that they're trying to squeeze as much money as they can out of the gameplay aspects of the game, when like I said earlier, 90% of the game to me when I was a kid was creating new anime characters. It would make more sense to charge people for that than the gameplay. I felt like my time was robbed, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe have one main character, and then if you want to unlock more slots, you know, you can pay for them at like
They
a one-time cost.
Guardian membership was like one of the points of buying Guardian membership was unlocking the rest of the character slots.
I don't know.
Well,
So
I mean, in the original, I'm not sure how it is in this one, but in the original, Guardianship was extra character slots, basically just cosmetic gear. I mean, like, there was Guardian-only quests, but I didn't feel like my gameplay was robbed when I was playing the original. I feel a lot more like gameplay robbed playing this.
So I'm just going to go on a couple of things that I actually liked about the game. There were the single-player challenges that seemed to be pretty abundant, because in the one zone that we were at, I found 2 of them in about 5 minutes when I was running around completing the quests. They were kind of interesting. They were little single-player challenges you go into, and it's an instance zone, you know, and you're faced by waves of monsters. Another one was a big boss, and I mean, I had to use my healing potions on him. I fought him at a level 4 to level 4 even fight, and he almost got me down. I was at maybe a quarter of my bar, you know. So I mean, it would have been a challenge to a younger game player.
I found a level 5 monster in town that I fought at level 5 with gear that I went out and fought for and grinded for. So I had nothing but level 5 equipment, and I tried to fight a level 5 boss, and not only did I spend all of my potions, but I lost the battle.
Yeah, I'm not so sure if that was a holiday event thing or something like that, but there was definitely a couple of those larger monsters in town that was running around. There were ice monsters, and I'm thinking that it probably had something to do with the holiday event. I noticed, like I said earlier, they had the Herald of the Bells playing in the background. There's Christmas decorations all over town, and presents and snowmen and stuff like that. You know, and maybe they were supposed to encourage people to get into groups, but it didn't even matter if you were grouped or not. I noticed, you know, if I attacked a monster that somebody else was attacking, I'm assuming that they probably got an EXP for it. I don't know. We didn't really test that for sure because we were grouped.
No, I did test it for sure. I ran up to monsters that were almost dead that people were fighting, and I got EXP for it, and nobody was yelling at me, so I'm assuming they also got XP.
Right. So I mean, that's kind of nice for younger people. There's no loot griefing and, you know, kill stealing and stuff like that.
Right,
Which,
and if you want to be a solo adventurer and don't want people all ruffling in your jammies, there's solo quests.
right, and I guess if you're in a hurry to complete quests, you're not stealing somebody else's time by running up and killing something on the last hit. I mean, it's a little corny, but, you know, I don't know. That's the way they decided to do it. So one other thing that we were having problems with was when we were grouping.
Yeah, we kept ending up in different world rooms. Like, for example, if you were to play Digimon Masters Online, they have the channels right next to the world map. It was like he'd keep going into channel 3 and I'd keep going into channel 4, even though we were in the same group standing right next to each other.
Right, game world instances, and we couldn't figure out a way to directly switch the world instance that we were on. I don't know if you figured that out or if you relogged. I'm not sure how you did that.
We figured out how to switch to each other's instances by right-clicking on each other's names and pressing Go To.
Right, but we had to keep on doing that every time we zoned or even had a conversation. We went into a small sub-zone, and
There was no way to sync up with each other, though. It was terrible.
and somehow there was a problem even though we were in the same.
It kept saying I was offline when I was clearly logged into the game in
Right.
the same party as him, and it wouldn't let him teleport to me because I was offline.
Alright, so for the last few minutes here, I'm just going to go over a couple of things that we wanted to make sure that we had covered. Character creation, you know, is pretty straightforward, really simple to do. A lot of customization, good art on the characters, I suppose. The graphics in the game are nice. And the music, when it works, is nice. the interface is really really big. I wish that there was a way that they had it put together where it was more of a grid type system that's more traditional. I don't like the big sliding scale thing with the large icons. I mean, maybe if you're a kid, it's easy. My son, when he plays games, he has to use two hands on a mouse sometimes to move the mouse around. So I mean, that's nice for younger audiences. The controls are really simple. You know, it's like a completely flat learning curve. And the tutorial, well, you don't really even need a tutorial for this game in all actuality. I'd say that the overall experience was somewhat frustrating. The difficulty was like nil, and in order to experience the entire game, you pretty much have to put something out of your wallet into it. I mean, I guess it's out there to play. You can enjoy the game and experience the story arc and everything like that, but I don't know, to unlock certain features that are core game mechanics such as a crafting skill, I think that's a little bit corny. I didn't really see much of the maturity level from the game players, and the story of the game itself doesn't really seem to take itself too seriously. So the maturity of the writing, I feel like, could be a little bit higher on. I don't think that they're not really throwing in very interesting plot lines. There's no.
They never intended to take the gameplay
It's just
seriously.
like / excuse for a quest. You know, I mean.
They never intended to take the story of the game seriously.
The protagonist in the woods was like, I rob from the rich and give monsters the loot.
I like that. That was the first time I had ever in my life seen a RPG attempt to explain why monsters always drop gold.
Yeah, I didn't like it. That's my opinion.
I liked it because, like I said, I'd never seen anybody try to put some reasoning behind that.
So, what do you think about the game?
I'm gonna have to give it the Gump Award.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, for the most part, it's not my style of game. You know, I'm gonna give it about 2.5 rating out of 5.
Gonna go ahead and give it 1 out of 5 bananas.
Yeah, because I mean, in all actuality, I guess if you want something to do with your kids and have that kind of MMO experience, I mean, there's always Toontown. You know, I'm not really too sure. Actually, we should do a review on Toontown next. What do you
Let's
think?
get dangerous.
Yeah, Disney. Toontown was fun. I actually enjoyed that one when we were playing it together when we were younger. So
Yeah, the last time I played it, I was an itty bitty though. So
well, that just about wraps it up for this game. So if you want something to do with your kids,
leave a comment, drop a like, don't forget to subscribe, and look forward to my channel coming soon.
And this makes Stardust. See you next time.